So if you follow anything with YouTube news, you've probably seen that YouTube just announced a pretty significant change for people who are working on growing their YouTube channels. Beginning February 1st of 2027, if you're a new creator who is aiming to earn ad revenue from the long form videos on your channel, and that's what a lot of people refer to as monetizing your YouTube channel, you now have to have 8,000 watch hours accumulated over the last year, and that's double what it is at the moment of 4,000 watch hours. And if your channel isn't to that monetized level yet, or maybe you haven't even started your YouTube channel and your goal is, hey, I want to earn money with my YouTube channel, you might be thinking, well, I guess that's now made it pretty impossible for me to do so. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that getting 8,000 watch hours over the course of a year is easy, because it's not in a lot of cases. But I do want to tell you something that I think is actually a whole lot more important than that. YouTube just made one way of earning with a channel quite a bit harder. But that is far from the only way that you can earn with YouTube. And once I understood that with my own channel, that having that monetized AdSense YouTube partner program part of it was actually a pretty small slice, that's really changed a whole lot about what I do with my own channel. And I want to tell you how you can do that with yours too. So let me just clarify a little bit more about what YouTube has changed, just so we understand what this conversation is. This particular change affects newer creators and smaller channels who are trying to qualify for ad and YouTube premium revenue sharing. If your channel is already qualified to be in the YouTube partner program now, that's not going to change moving forward. This new 8,000 watch hour requirement doesn't apply to you. And YouTube has specifically said that the lower thresholds for like the entry level to the YouTube partner program, things like the fan funding with live streams and YouTube shopping, none of that changes either. But with that said, let's get back to what I think is the much more important conversation of turning back that wrong thought of, well, I'll never be able to earn with YouTube now. And why do I say that? Because ads are only one way to earn with your channel. So it's been about 2 years now that I have been building what I'm building with this channel that you're watching now. It's older than that. I had a set of older non-related videos that then I took a pretty long span of not posting anything. And then it's been about 2 years since I've started posting regularly of talking about what I do these days. I tried to do all the things that I was supposed to do with concentrating on what it took to grow a channel. And thankfully, at one point, I did have one video that kind of unexpectedly did that whole popping off that people talk about. And it got quite a few views. And that's the one in and of itself, pretty much, that put me over the requirements to get into the YouTube Partner Program. So roughly in that 21 month period since then, of all the income that I have earned with this channel, AdSense has been roughly 20%, if that. Now, that's my channel, and I know that everybody's channel is different and everybody's intentions with their channel is different. But I'm making basically about 80% of my income from other sources than the YouTube Partner Program. And I say that to give you encouragement that I think so many people get sucked into all the income report videos that come up, and here's what I made with my monetized channel and all that kind of stuff. And every channel is different. Every creator is different. Every financial goal that you might have with a channel is different, if you even want to earn from it at all. I just want to encourage you not to feel so throttled by these tough new requirements that were announced and just get discouraged and, well, my whole idea of being able to earn with a channel is now pretty well shot. It is far from that. So I'd say 80% of my income comes from things like affiliate marketing and brand sponsorships and having digital products and ebooks. And let me clarify that this 8,000 watch hour requirement and even the current 4,000 watch hour requirement does not affect those things at all. They are not at all associated with the YouTube Partner Program. You can honestly start with that route of taking those types of income streams almost from day one of building your channel. So please don't look at achieving the requirements of the YouTube Partner Program as this big, glorious finish line where money starts falling from the sky and all the things like that. Number one, you don't make a whole lot from it anyway. And number two, that limits so much of the opportunities that you can have to earn with a channel if you think that that's the big goal. I want to help you maybe set your sights on some other, and dare I say, better opportunities. So, a few months after I had my channel monetized with the YouTube Partner Program, I published my first ebook. And I think a day after I posted my first video of mentioning it and having it available in the description, like it is right now, I got my first sale. And I kind of sat back and thought, wow, here's a person that I've never met who has watched my videos, who feels like they're getting to know me a little bit and feels like they can trust what I had to say about what I'm talking about, decided that I had indeed been helpful enough to be able to click through and put in their credit card and buy my first ebook. It's kind of humbling to think that as I've made these videos that people you watch them and that people have decided that they feel like my knowledge of the subject matter is enough and that I'm a person that they can trust of what I'm saying it can actually be helpful, and they decided to buy an ebook and now a second ebook that I have now. And I'm really humbled by it, but I'm also gratified to know that the comments that I get back from people is that they're being helped by them, which is what I want to do with this channel and the products that I put out. So that sale had nothing to do with an AdSense account, nothing to do with the monetized channel. It came from offering something of value that matches up with what my viewers are looking for. And that's the same thing that you can do with any subject matter that you talk about on your channel. If you speak in such a way that the person gets an idea that you're trustworthy, that you know what you're talking about, you putting out those types of digital products has the exact same path and the same opportunity to serve and help. So, with that, I want to encourage you to change your thinking of that big, huge goal that now got a good bit more huge of, I need to get my YouTube channel monetized. And instead, switch that goal around to, how can I best genuinely serve and help the people that are watching me? Because once you've done that, there's several ways that building on that trust and that usefulness can serve others and also help you to build income through your channel. So take putting out an ebook or a digital product like a template or a planner or something. Again, there is absolutely no YouTube requirement that you have to meet to be able to put that link in your video description, except for setting it up through advanced settings when you start your channel. And that requires that you just put in your cell phone number and that they can A, figure out that you're a real person, and B, determine exactly which part of the world you're coming from. You don't have to have a certain amount of views or watch hours or subscribers to be able to put those links in. Just that one little extra step to make sure you've done during your channel setup. Maybe you have a quilting channel and you find in your comments that people are constantly asking you about the type of fabric that you're using. Maybe your channel focuses on personal finance and family budgeting, and you often refer to the type of spreadsheet that you have set up, and people are like, hey, do you sell that spreadsheet so that I can use it too? Maybe your channel is faith-based and you've created a specific type of prayer journal or Bible study guide for your particular audience that's following you on your channel. You don't need 8,000 watch hours to be able to help somebody beyond simply the content that's on your channel. Now, let's think about affiliate marketing. And affiliate marketing is just naturally recommending products that go along with what your subject matter is, and you have joined the particular affiliate program for the companies that offer those products. When you put that link in your description and somebody purchases through that link, the company in essence gives you a commission as a, hey, thank you. You brought this person to us. They bought the product. We're going to thank you by giving you an affiliate commission. And it makes perfect sense for you to recommend the products that you're often demonstrating and using right in your video and talking about, and then saying, here's where you can get them. And you've hopefully noted in your description that it is an affiliate link, so you're not trying to be secretive about it. There's no extra cost to the consumer at all. You can put affiliate links in your description with no set amount of watch hours and with no set amount of subscribers. And then there are brand sponsorships. Now, let's have a realistic expectation. I'm not suggesting that you upload your first video and you get 15 views on it and you expect that in 2 business days later that Nike's going to come calling and say, hey, we want to put an ad in your next video. It's not like that, but don't dismiss the opportunities that small channels have. You don't have to wait for YouTube to declare you as monetized before companies start reaching out to you. I can't remember exactly, but I got my first reach outs from companies to consider brand sponsorships with them when I had maybe between 4 and 5,000 subscribers. Brands care much more about who it is that's watching you, the type of audience that you're putting together, the demographics that you're reaching that they want to be able to reach too. And they like it very much when they can get a sense from watching your channel and understand that your audience listens to what you have to say. So that means a small, very selective audience is very valuable to them if they're the right audience that they want to reach. I literally receive emails every single day from companies who want to have sponsored spots in my videos. Now, honestly, the vast majority of them don't line up enough with what I want to share with my audience that it makes it worthwhile for me to take them, because your trust of me is paramount. And if I start putting brand sponsorships into stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with what you're interested in, well, then that breaks that trust. So I really don't do a whole lot of brand sponsorships. I'm certainly open to the idea if it's the right fit, but I'm pretty selective about the sponsorships that I take. I share that though to tell you that the potential is there, and that every now and again, as you grow and you build that specific selective kind of audience, you're going to start getting those reach outs from companies too. So if I were starting this YouTube channel again now, here's a couple things that I would really be focusing on. Now, knowing that this new 8,000 watch hour rule is coming, I would not spend my time watching my analytics and seeing those hours tick up and getting all stressed out about it. I would absolutely work toward monetization, because AdSense money is real money and I like getting in it. I'm not intending to give it back, but I don't put it as my whole huge focus and deny probably even better opportunities because I'm so focused on getting those watch hours and subscribers. I'd put my emphasis much more when starting out on making videos that help people, solving specific problems for a specific audience, figuring out who my perfect viewer is, and understanding how I can create content that serves them and helps them, and just being myself so that people can get to know me a little bit and understand that they can trust what I'm saying. I pay, and I do pay, very close attention to the questions that show up in my comments and the struggles that people say that they're having, and I develop content that I think can help with those struggles. I look for products that I use in what I'm doing so that I can honestly recommend them for affiliate sales. And when starting out, I'd eventually start really keeping in mind again those questions that keep coming up and ask myself, what's a type of digital product or downloadable ebook that I could write and put together that could really even answer more of these questions and serve in a more robust way? That's a much more effective strategy to put your time and thoughts into than thinking, oh, I have to get those 8,000 watch hours. And the wonderful thing is you can build all of those things that I talked about while you're getting your watch hours. It's not like you're sitting in a YouTube waiting room just waiting for them to call your number. You can do it all at the same time. That monetization finish line can easily turn into just a trap for new creators, and I really hate seeing when that happens. Why? Because it makes you focus on a number that only YouTube controls. First it was 4,000, now it's 8,000. You have to have 1,000 subscribers to reach it too. And who knows, maybe that number will change too. And the trap can keep you from paying the most attention to the primary thing that you have to keep in mind when you're building a channel, and that's getting to know your audience and serving them as well as you can with the content that you're putting out there. You want to build a group of people who know you and trust you, and hopefully come back when they see that you've got a new video up and watch that one too, because the last one helped them. This one might help them too. That relationship is far more important than keeping an eye on what's happening underneath the Earn tab in your YouTube analytics. And YouTube can't double the requirement for that. I remember seeing the AdSense income come in for the first time, and I was glad it was there, but it was smaller than I thought it would be. And when I started looking at what my revenue per bill for my channel, that meaning the cost that YouTube would pay me per every 1,000 views, was maybe a whole lot smaller than I anticipated, That's when I had the more clear idea that I'd made the idea of channel monetization to be a much bigger deal than it should be. And I thought, there's other ways I can do this. My channel and my content, my videos are not simply a place where YouTube can put their ads on, and that as you watch what I have to say, that I feel more importantly about you watching the ads than maybe gaining anything from what I'm talking about. I'm working on serving my audience. I'm working on understanding what would serve you the best. And as that happens, I earn from the products that I'm putting out, and I'm attracting the attention of companies who want to sponsor spots within my videos. That same thing can happen for you. I just want to underscore that a couple times here, that having just that really super limited mindset of YouTube channel monetization can keep you from so many other benefits, financial and otherwise. So a whole lot of people in my audience are over the age of 50. And I love that because I am too. And I feel like we have so much to offer, and YouTube provides a perfect place to be able to do that. And I know a whole lot of people in my audience are very new in their channels, or maybe they're starting over with a channel, or maybe you're in that position of, I think I can do this, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm just going to keep watching videos about this until I feel more convinced. So if you're in any of those positions and you have not yet reached the YouTube monetization threshold for your channel, let me encourage you to not let that be any type of big deal in your mind whatsoever. Yes, it will take new creators longer to get their channels monetized. But that pales in comparison to the idea that there are people, real human beings, searching YouTube every day for answers to specific questions and places to find encouragement from people who seem like they know what they're talking about, and places to learn all kinds of new things and put new things into practice. They don't care if your channel's monetized. They don't look and see how many subscribers you have first before they click and watch. If you're providing content that gets their attention with a good title and a thumbnail, and then you are personable and you talk about what you know and you talk about paths that you've walked on, that they might be on that same kind of path a little bit behind you, and you can provide valuable insight, that's the big win. They're looking for videos with one question in mind: can this person help me? That's the opportunity I would spend all my time concentrating on as you put your content together. And so, with all this in mind, I do just want to mention that the first ebook that I put out concentrates very much on all the ways that you can indeed earn with a YouTube channel. And that's the ones that we've talked about, of affiliate marketing and sponsorships, but it also goes into coaching and creating courses and having speaking engagements and all these things, because I want to give you a really wide scope of all the opportunities that exist and ways that you can make them match up with the niche that you want to talk about. So I cover like 200 niches and associated ideas that go along with them in the book, and just give you an idea of what all these earning opportunities are. I have gotten a whole lot of comments from people that it has really broadened their understanding of how that works, and they've been pursuing new opportunities because of it. So I point it out because I think it could help you if you're looking for that kind of thing too. If you're watching on a TV, I have a QR code here if you want to scan and take a look, and it's linked in the description. So yeah, YouTube did kind of move the finish line for getting to the point of having a monetized channel. But they can't move the starting line, and they can't move the opportunities that come with having a channel, both personal and financial. Every opportunity that was there before still exists. So if you're still thinking about starting a channel or getting some more momentum with the one that you're starting with, I want to encourage you to concentrate so much more on making either your first or your next really useful and helpful video than putting any brain space into worrying about this: will I ever get to 8,000 hours? Start helping people. Start caring about the person on the other side of your camera even more, and thinking about the ways that you can help and serve them with what you've got on your channel. That's truly what helps the numbers to grow, all while you're serving your audience well. Hey, I'm Diane Moore. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this has helped to maybe calm your nerves a little bit about this. YouTube tells me that this is the video that you would benefit the most to watch next, so I hope you'll give it a click and go from there. See you in the next one.